Hey YouTube, it's Jim Nice here in a video, and took some notes. I'm going to be reviewing the first episode of Legends House, and found out after I already wrote down a page, like 2.5 pages around there of notes, and I found out they have pictures. So next week, on next Thursday when they do the next episode, I'll put some notes, or not notes, but I'll show the pictures. But it started out with Tony Atlas coming in. He was already eating by the time the next guy got in. Hillbilly Jim, Pat Patterson, Jimmy Hart, Howard Finkel, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Mean Gene Okerlund, and Roddy Piper. Hearing that in the background watching TNA. But everyone gets their stuff in. They're getting ready, just sitting around and get off. Like, they got their different clothes on. And this hot chick comes on, like, with a cake and says, "Come meet your neighbors," or whatever, and like to greet them with a cake or whatever. And Tony Atlas and Mean Gene go around to the neighbors, and then one of them, the houses they go to, like, some lady is like speaking Spanish, and then they were like, "Do you want this, the cake?" And she like, "No." And then they end up going to someone else's house, and then cut off. And then Roddy Piper and Hacksaw Jim Duggan go to this kid's house, this people's house, and this kid is like, "That guy over there says he's stronger than you," or whatever. And then something happens, like with the dog food or something that they use for dog food or something, like, and the kid gives like Roddy Piper something like dog food or used for dog food. I don't remember really what it was. Jimmy Hart and Hillbilly Jim go to a house, and the lady is like, "Do you want some fresh grown cilantro?" And he was like, "Sure, I'd love some." And then he was like, "But what is it?" And then it's going back to Tony Atlas and Mean Gene, and they're eating cookies and brownies and cheesecake and stuff with the neighbors. And he said it was the best brownie he's ever had, so that's pretty funny. And then everyone's back at the house, and Hacksaw says he misses his 3 dogs and wishes they had a dog or cat, something that can pet besides Roddy Piper. And then Roddy Piper's trying to use the blender, and he can't figure out. He's just getting cussing and mad. He's about to bust it, and then Hacksaw was like, "You gotta take the safety off first." It was funny. And then Pat says, or they wanted to eat something. He was like, "How about I make cabbage roll," or whatever. I've never heard what the heck that is. And he went to go get him and Jimmy Hart went to go shopping for it. And like the cabbage was sort of small, he said. And then Jimmy drove the handicap thing around the store. And then they got back and started making the stuff. And then while they're waiting, Roddy Piper and Howard Finkel played a game of tennis with Hillbilly Jim and Jimmy Hart. And Tony Atlas and Hacksaw Jim Duggan are smoking cigars and drinking, watching them laughing and playing, watching them like playing, laughing, or whatever. And then Hillbilly Jim and Jimmy Hart went, and they go inside for the cabbage rolls. They've been waiting, and they want it now, and it wasn't ready, so they have that. I think I'm pretty sure they had at least 1 or 2 days. It doesn't say like when a new day starts, but I'm pretty sure it was the next day, because they hear like a gong, and they have different clothes on. And they all sit on a mat, because Gary Busey's there. I'm not really too familiar with him. He's some actor, but yeah, they was like meditating or something like that. And then he was like, just randomly, he was just like, "When I get bored, I honk at Geeth." And he was just like, "Honk!" It was so funny. And then when the meditation's over, they go talk and eat food or whatever. And then Hacksaw and Tony almost get into an argument or whatever. And then Gary says that like wrestlers or people, whatever, just they go backstage, and after the show they're still in their character or whatever. And they were like, "Yeah, that's pretty much what it is." And people come up to them and talk to them as the wrestler name, not the real name. And he was like, "You don't really have that problem because you were an actor or whatever, and that like you were in different movies, so that you weren't the same person or whatever." And then I think it was another day they talk about WrestleMania 1, and then Hillbilly Jim shows his scar to Roddy Piper, and then Roddy Piper shows him like one of his neck, his back, and his hip, or whatever. And then everyone's drinking, and then Roddy Piper leaves, and he was like, I haven't drank or done drugs or whatever. I'm done drinking since September of 2009. And then he goes into his room, but he could still hear him, so he left, and then he just walks out of the house, and then it shows what happens next week. They play polo on horses and stuff, and then they go to like a Zumba class. But really entertaining. I can't wait for next week. And not exactly what I was expecting, but it was entertaining. Overall, I'll give it a 8.5. It was really funny throughout the show, and can't wait to see what's to happen. And yeah, that's my review of Legends House, Episode 1, Season 1, show premiere, season premiere, debut episode, whatever. And yeah, that's about it. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, bye.